Hello everyone, Chepandi Cheputilsuledu Kadu guys. So today we'll talk about 50 most important current affairs for economy part 1. And I have already made videos on what? Part 1 is already done for polity and governance as well as environment. Oh my god, environment. So and this is economy, and the next part will be of science and tech, and then IR. So these five modules will be covering, and they will be in 4 parts. So there will be total 40, 40, 5 into 4, 20. Oh my god, what has happened to my CSAT? So let's not waste time. So this is part 1. We'll take 13 articles, and here we are trying to cover articles from June to September, early September in this particular, because you have to cover 1 year news, right? Similarly, when we'll go to part 2, we'll go to September, October, November, and even previous months if you find there are some other articles which we have not discussed. So that way we will cover. And again, let's see. So what is also happening via this is when you're covering environment, polity, economy. So we are covering 50 and we have 5 modules, let's say. So 15 to 5 will be covering 250 topics, and that would be awesome, right? So, if what the questions will come from this, and people will like say you taught this and that's why this came. The basic rationale is if anybody reads these 250 topics, the question will come, right? Okay, let's focus. So my name is Shubham Saga. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, guys, and this is my Telegram channel. You can join this Telegram channel. I share, like, this is fine, the summary and all is fine, but I share Hindu analysis, unannotated Hindu analysis PDF every day. Like I do it Monday to Saturday, and I share it in this Telegram channel. So you can join it. That way you'll be dealing with in newspaper and current affairs on a daily basis, which is actually a healthy way to read or off reading current affairs. So let's not waste time. Let's start with the first article of the day without wasting any time. 28th June 2025. So India reports current account surplus of this and that. See, from UPSC perspective, it's not important the numbers and how much current account surplus we encountered, Why I have taken this article to just give you an idea. To give you an idea about balance of payment. When you talk about BOP, so you have current account, you have capital account. In current account, you have visible and invisible components. So you should know about these component, guys. Balance of payment, you have current account, you have merchandise. This is also known as visible component, export and import of goods, and this is also known as BOT, balance of trade. And then you have invisible component. The mnemonic to remember it is SIT, services, income and transfer. Services, banking, telecom. Income is, you can see here, profit, interest, dividend, which companies are earning, etc. Transfer is a gift, grants and remittances. Remittances which Indian diaspora is sending to our country. Similarly, there will be some foreign diaspora in India, they'll be sending it to their country, but more money come from remittances into India than it goes from, it goes outside India. Capital account is basically loan, FDI, FPI, loan, ECB, NRI deposits. Then you have special drawing rights of IMF, which is not exactly a currency. It's just that if you have SDRs, you can ask IMF to give you some loan in the form of, let's say, renminbi, Chinese currency, or gold, or Japanese yen, or dollar and all, pound sterling and all. We'll talk about all these things. So for the time being, just remember BOP, the components, they're important, and they have been asked a lot by UPSC, so you have to know it. So India records current account surplus of $13.5 billion in quarter 4 fiscal year 25. So when they're talking about quarter 4, again, some basic terms. We don't need to know the numbers, guys. The basic rationale you already know, the BOP and the components. Quarter 4 fiscal year 25 is January 1 to March 31. That is, and here they're talking about 2025. So FY 2025 is basically 24-25. Right? So they're saying that the current account surplus has increased, blah, blah, blah. Merchandise trade deficit, here they're talking about export and import of goods. So basically what happens, if you go back and if you see this thing again, you will see this a lot. If you're reading economy, you will see BOP a lot. So India generally has a current account deficit, which we compensate by capital account surplus. And so here in this case, export and import of goods, generally we have deficit. On the other hand, when it comes to SIT services and all, generally here, especially in the remittances part, we have surplus. But this deficit is too huge, and that's why current account in general becomes deficit. Capital account, we then take loans to compensate for this current account deficit, because you have to run your country. You will take loan, FDI, FPI, and all these things will happen. Cool. Now let's come back. So that's what they're talking about here. So more than the numbers, focus on the conceptual part. So trade deficit, they're talking about the numbers. Net services receipt increased to 50. Again, you don't need to focus on the numbers. Just to give you an idea what is happening in our country, you should focus on BOP and the component. Remittances, see, remittances we always do good. Rose to $33.9 billion. Our West Asian diaspora, UAE and all, they send a lot of money. It's not like the diaspora in US and Canada, they don't. But yes, from West Asia, lots of money come. FDI recorded a net inflow of 0. We will talk about FDI. That will be another article. Again, FDI is important. Gross FDI, net FDI, repatriation. We have to talk about a lot of things. Now let's solve this question MCQ1. Which of the following best explains a current account surplus? When will you have a current account surplus? As I have told you, India generally has current account deficit and it compensates it by capital account surplus. China has exact opposite. They have current account surplus and because they don't need to take loans, so they have capital account deficit. Very good. So now let's focus on what is current account surplus when the total inflow from export services and remittances and income exceed outflow. So the answer is C. Very good. Next question. A closed economy is an economy in which what happens? UPSC 2011 question, closed economy. USA is currently becoming more and more closed with each passing day. But no country is exactly closed, guys. Closed economy means that neither export nor import takes place. There are some countries, none of the country in the world is a closed economy. Some amount of export, some amount of import always happen. But Brazil, North Korea, they're very close example of, let's say, closed economy. So the answer is D. Very good. Next article, second article. Indian inequality in the World Bank claims, 19th July 2025. And again, rather than what Ram Singh is saying, Ram is a very good boy. This article is important from that perspective. Is here you will read about Gini coefficient. You have to understand what is Gini coefficient. It measures inequality, right? World Bank is claiming something about India. India today is very equal and all, but this article is saying that we have to take it with a pinch of salt. Gini coefficient 0 means equality, 1 means inequality. 0 means perfect equality. Everybody has equal money. And 1 means perfect inequality. So I should not be writing just equality. It's perfect equality. Perfect equality means I and Ambani and Adani, they all have the same amount of money. That cannot happen. So you can never be 0. You cannot be 1, right? If you are closer to 1, you are unequal. If you are closer to 0, you are equal. Sometimes they convert it into, percentage term also. So, 0 to 1, 1 is 100%. And in that regard, what have I done there? Here, is there any eraser here? Can I erase it? Eraser, there is no eraser, so this will remain. I'm so clumsy. Okay, guys, let's move on. So, context and introduction. Inequality is a central concern in a democracy. Again, you can see this. So, World Bank, they published a report in 2025 where they said that India is today top 4 least unequal country. Because in the last 10, 12 years, uh, lots of people have been taken out of extreme poverty. So, we today are more equal than even, let's say, China or US. I think China's score in Gini coefficient is around 38% and what India's Gini coefficient is 25.5. You may feel like, so you said 0 and 1. I just told you, 0 and 1 can also be converted into 0% to 100%. So in that regard, you have to look at it. So if you are lesser in number, you are doing good. 0 is perfect equality, right? So India is decreasing. Gini coefficient decrease, so we are doing good. 25.5. China is in 30s, US is in 50s or something like that. But yes, we are top 4 least unequal countries in the world. That World Bank, that is what World Bank is saying. But this article is saying that it doesn't look like it on the when you talk about from the reality perspective. So what data they are taking into consideration, we'll talk about it. These are the numbers which helped us become top 4 unequal country and all, or top 4 least unequal country, so to say. Approximately 27 crore people lifted out of extreme poverty. What is extreme poverty? World Bank definition is, if let's say you are living on less than $2.15 approximate per day, $2.5 per day, then you are living in extreme poverty. So if you convert it into, let's say, 80 rupees or something like that, so less than 200 per day, 6,000 monthly. So you are living in extreme poverty. And according to this report, approximately 27 crore people has been lifted out of extreme poverty. This is not a new number. We know this number. We have heard, we have read about this particular number. So do remember this particular point. They can ask you, what is the basic meaning of extreme poverty? So you should know the basic meaning of extreme poverty. So these are the terms which are actually important from exam perspective, guys, because who are good boys and girls? You people are. So again, extreme poverty. Gini coefficient. I will talk about some more things here. Just be with me. So improvement in consumption patterns. These are actually good things. See, it has always been said about India that our diet is very much carbohydrate heavy and all. We eat a lot of rice and wheat. We don't eat a lot of protein, egg, milk, you know, soya bean or paneer or chicken and all. But that is happening. We are consuming a lot of protein, and that's why you see the bulge, the stomach coming out of Indian people. So, but we are doing good. Per capita milk and egg availability has increased. Diet diversification is happening. We are eating more fruits and vegetables, less dependence on cereals, which is actually good. It shows progress in a country when these things happen. Bottom 20% of households have most tracking dietary improvements. Rural households consume fresh fruits. All these things are actually good things, and that's why World Bank is giving you such a rosy picture about India. But the story is not exactly this. We are not. We cannot be. We know in India there is Oxfam International. They said that top 1% population, they are occupying 60% income or something like that. So you have to take this data, you have to acknowledge it. I love my country that these are very good figures, but yes, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Changes in the rural life due to government scheme, you have Narega, you have direct benefit transfer and all. More than 40% of poorest people own a vehicle today and all because they are getting money now. Narega is G Ramji and all, so this enables part-time work in cities without migration. Basically in cities Narega is not applicable because that was right to work in rural areas, but other schemes you can talk about: direct benefit transfer, food security scheme, and whatnot. There are so many other schemes which government has come up with. So inclusion, India still faces inequality in access to health and education, but we are doing good when it comes to curbing poverty. And if you know the SDG related to poverty, you can write it in the comment section which SDG deals with poverty. Make remember those 17 goals and not 169 targets of SDGs, but yes, 17 goals, you have to remember it. So Lawrence curve. Now let me, before we talk about this article, let's go to one another slide. So there are certain curves which you have to remember, guys. Curves. Okay. So Lorentz curve. So Lorentz curve establishes relationship between national income and population, and from this Gini coefficient is derived. So income inequality. They can ask you which of the following curves shows income inequality. Phillips curve, Kuznets curve, and all. So you have to remember this Lorentz curve. Very good. Just give me a second, guys. So shows income inequality. Gini coefficient ranges from 0 to 1, 0 perfect equality, 1 maximal inequality, and we know it can be converted into percentage term. So Lorentz curve, if you see this is the line of equality. If I draw a line like this, so on line of equality, 40% population, they're having 40% income, but the reality is not that. So reality is somewhere on this line or somewhere above that line. You can make a curve like this also. So if I plot the point here, so you see this Lorentz curve, red one. So you see 20% income is 40% population having 20% income, and that is inequality, and that's what Lorentz curve measures. Then you have something known as Kuznets curve. Remember these curves, guys: income per capita and income inequality. So it says that when an economy develops, India is a developing economy, first inequality will increase and then it will decrease. Market forces will first increase and then decrease income inequality. And how it happens? This is Kuznets curve, graph between inequality and income per capita. So generally, let's say bullet train, we talk about bullet train, it is getting constructed and all. So what will happen when bullet train is happening? There are companies, private entities, and let's say there are different Ambani and Adani, they have some role in that bullet train. So private entities, they will become richer, but slowly and gradually what happened when bullet train will be there, then people, local people, they can set up their shops, gupchup shop, fuchka shop, other shops and all. So that way inequality will reduce, purchasing, like people will have more income. So that's how economy works. Kuznets curve, Phillips curve, inverse relationship between employment and unemployment and inflation. So when inflation increases, unemployment decreases, because when inflation increases, prices of goods and services increases, so producers have more incentive to produce goods, and thereby they will employ more people, and that's how unemployment reduces. But not like you cannot increase inflation beyond a point, because it will erode your purchasing power, erode the purchasing power of your people. So Phillips curve, inflation and unemployment, remember these curves. Then you have Lafar curve, tax revenue and tax rate. That it says that always government want more revenue, so they will try to increase tax rate, but beyond a certain increase, what will happen is, I will show you the graph. So tax revenue, so government will increase tax rate is increasing, but after a certain point, even if government increases tax rate, tax revenue will decrease, because then people or big rich people, if they're earning more and if they have to pay more tax, they will go to tax heaven, let's say Mauritius or Monte Carlo, Monaco, where many tennis player lives and all. So they will try to bypass this taxing mechanism. If they're, let's say, taxing 100%, tax rate is 100%, then the tax revenue will become zero because nobody will pay tax. If you're taking away all my money, why will I work? So if I'm not working, I'm not earning. If I'm not earning, I'm not paying. So that's how things will, or the taxes will reduce. So remember these facts, remember these numbers, they are actually important. Let's go back to what we were reading. Hope you understood these terms. They are very important. Hey, just give me a second. I'm a drama king. Oh, guys, don't say these things. I'm not a drama king. So this is what Lorentz curve is telling you here. Now let's solve some questions. Lorentz curve establishes relation between national income and population. We have discussed this. You can revise whatever I have told you. One, and you can convert it into percentage term also. So Lafar curve, tax revenue and tax rate, we have talked about that as well. Gini coefficient is used to measure. Let's solve some questions. What is the answer, guys? You can pause me whenever you see this question and then unpause me. Inequality. Very good. Who are good boys? You people are. Then, next question. Which of the following trends were observed in India's consumption pattern between 2011-12 and 2022-23 according to World Bank report? So you see these options, you pause me and then you try to solve it. In the comment section also you can tell me how many questions you got correct out of the total questions we solved. So increase consumption, decrease in share of cereals, reduction in protein intake, not reduction, increase in protein intake. So third is wrong, right? If you eliminate third, you will get the answer A, C, 1, 2, and 4. Increase in protein intake has been seen, and that is actually a good thing. Cool, cool, cool. Next MCQ, Lorentz curve plots which of the following? What is the relationship between Lorentz curve? Cumulative population versus cumulative income, right? That's what we have discussed, Lorentz curve. Hope I'm correct here. And if you see, let's see if I'm correct or not, because I'm not God, right? National income and population, I can forget stuff, and these curves are a little bit confusing, guys, so you have to revise them. So here's the answer as we have discussed. Lafar curve illustrates relationship between tax rate and tax revenue. Pause me whenever you see the question. Pause me before I tell you the answer, and you're like, sir, why you did that? 26 June 2025, GST Council said to discuss having fewer items in 12% slab. We know this. We know, earlier you have 0, 5, 12, 18, 28, and then some other 40 and all those things. So what government was trying to do, what government has done now, because I'm making this video in January. So what government has done, they have, you know, shifted many items which were there in 12% to 5%, and they have shifted many items which were there in 28% to 18%. So basically, they are trying to have, let's say 0 is there, 5 is there, 18 is there. These maximum goods in this. That does not mean they have completely abolished 12 and 28. They are there, but very minimal items are there. Most of them are there in 0, 5, 18, because that was one of the criticism of GST. You talk about one nation, one tax, but this is not exactly one nation, one tax. You have multiple tax slabs and you have to reduce those tax slabs because government is shifting a lot of items from 12% to 5% and 28% to 18%, so they will lose revenue, but they're trying to diversify their domestic market, export market, and they're trying to incentivize consumption, local consumption, because of tariffs and all the things which has happened, and Trump's flip-flop policies. Exporters are impacted, so they can be, exporters losses can be offset if domestic consumption increases. This is one way of doing that. So again, all these numbers will keep on changing. You don't have to pay attention to this. We are more focused on the static part. GST council, input tax credit, like this article is saying that if many items are moved from 12% to 5% slab, many these merchants, they will lose income tax credit. Now you have to understand what is income tax credit, how it works. So this slide will tell you that. So you purchase raw materials, you pay 1,000 rupees at GST. Now you have made a final product and you have to pay 1,500 GST, but you have already paid 1,000 on input, so you just have to pay 500 rupees. Extra 500, that is input tax credit. You get it on 12% goods which are there on 12% tax slab, but generally on 5% you don't get input tax credit. So even if you have paid 1,000, because there is no input tax credit, you again have to pay 1,500 and whatever GST was there, because ITC is generally not applied on 5%. That's what this article is saying. Even if you shift materials or items from 12% to 5%, because they will lose input tax credit, because they have to pay double taxes, one on the inputs, other on the outputs, that will increase the prices of goods rather than curbing means cutting it. Your aim is what? If you want to reduce taxes from 12% to 5%, you want to cut, the price, reduce the price, but that will not happen if you take away ITC. So it might increase the actual cost of production, which government has to look into. Meeting frequency is also an issue. GST should meet quarterly, but this article was published in June, and since December they did not meet. 6 months gap. That should not happen. Maybe people are too busy to meet. Now these are again static part, which are important, which you have to keep in mind. These are the things which are important. Numbers will keep on changing with each passing day. So that's none of your concern, guys. So GST constitutional body under Article 279A. Do remember the Amendment Act also 101st. GST Council members, chairperson, Union Finance Minister, and then Minister of State for Finance from Union Government and Finance Minister of States. So Union Government, they have 33% voting power, and the states, they have 67%. And if a decision has to go through in GST Council, it needs 75% votes. So neither union government alone, not state alone can take a decision. They have to come together. And again, in this article, I have told you, I have explained how things work on that regard also. GST Council, these things are changing. What is their rule and what is their work? That is what is being discussed here. Decision making process, these are important. They can directly ask you. They have already asked multiple questions on GST Council, how it works, this and that. So each decision required 75% approval central government, one third state government. We have talked about it. I'm not reading the slide. That is your work. Now, how this works, how the 75% thing works, this slide is important. This will give you conceptual clarity, and you will thank me later, or you can thank me in the comment section also. So suppose 30 members are present. You see this, 75% of 30 members, 22.5, that means 23 votes are required. So center, even though one center member is there, they have 10 votes, because that's how weightage is there, right? 33% weightage for center and 67% for states. States together have 20 votes. So out of these 30 votes, states have 20 votes and center has 10 votes. To reach consensus, they need 23. So center 10 vote alone will not do anything. States 20 votes alone will not do anything. So both have to come together, and that's is an example of cooperative federalism, so to say. Let's solve some question. PYQ UPSC 2017. What are the most, or is or are the most likely advantages? Try to solve this question. Pause me and then unpause me. What unpause me? I'm just silent right now only. I love you na upiria dipoina. I love that song, guys. There's another song which is very good, which is Kiliye Kiliye Mununo Kiliye. I'm taking a pause. So, what are the most likely implementing goods and services? Replace multiple tax collectors and will just create a single market. Drastically reduce. Focus on the key, like these words. Enormously increase. So third is wrong, right? Not enormously increase the growth and size of economy and enable it to overtake China. Oh my God, we're looking at we're predicting the future, so to say. So the answer is A1 only. Okay. With reference to GST Council, constitutional body, correct. Voting power, not equal, 33%, right? Center 33 and state 67. So second is wrong, eliminate second. You're left with A and D. Council is mandated to meet at least once every 6 months. No, 3 months, quarterly. So third is also wrong. The answer is A1 only. Wow, I love you now, Piriadi Poina. Consider the following statement about input tax credit under GST, guys. Chipandis, chipatusu ledu. In our time, there used to be some till kapanchi boli cuckoo cuckoo. That means my heart is saying there are veins inside my heart which is saying cuckoo cuckoo. So ITC, guys, moving an item may lead to loss of all items under GST. No, not all items are under ITC. So third is wrong. If you eliminate third, again the answer is A. Oh my God, so many answers. Have A answer? Oh my God. Okay, next article, fourth article. Around 6% of PM internship offer recipients join work. Government has launched on one particular scheme, PMIS, Prime Minister Internship Scheme, where they want to provide internship to a lot of people. We'll talk about this. Just give me a second, because whenever I talk about PM Internship Scheme, I laugh because there is one thing called implementation. There's another thing called, like, one thing announcement and the another thing is implementation. So implementation is lagging somewhere, guys. So let's talk about this. And again, this is a news PM internship, so you have to revise it multiple times. It has come, multiple times in news. So 1.53 internship offers were oh my God, I'm stammering. Just give me a second. 1.53 lakh internship offers have been made under PMIS. Offer expect now. If we will talk about all the numbers, so PMIS was announced. These are the things which are important. 2024-25 union budget, provide internship to 1 crore youth in India's top 500 companies over 5 years. All these facts are important. These two facts are very important. We want to provide internship. Is this an unpaid internship? No, paid internship. If you go to different facts and figures, you will realize that 5,000 per month we will be providing it to these kids who are in the age group of 21 to 24. So top 500 companies, 5,000 rupees per month, and some additional 500 rupees, etc. as well. So insurance and all. Again, 4,500 will be provided by government, 500 by private parties. Even if you don't remember the numbers, just remember money is given. It's not an unpaid internship, but not many people are accepting it. Oh, why they're not accepting it? Because the number is too less. 5,000 rupees per month. It's it's not 1980s, guys. You know, it will not even cover the room rent and all. So first round, what happened? 1.27 lakh, and let's say you are in Lucknow, you get an internship opportunity in Kanpur, you're getting 5,000 and all. I hope you're understanding. Cost of living is very high now. So overall, if you see total cumulative stat as of July 17, and then later on also stats came, it's fine. The stats are not very encouraging. 1.53 lakh offer made, 50,000 accepted, 8,700 joined. Oh my God. And it's not like we don't want to work. There's so much unemployment in our country. But if you give them 5,000 per month, how will they work, guys? You know, I don't know. But yeah, Modi hai to mumkin hai. I love Modi sir. Modi sir is in my heart. Key features: internship opportunity duration varies based on company, stipend provided by participating company, amount not fixed, it varies, but yes, it's not unpaid. And it's not only in urban areas, all 735 districts in India are covered. Digital platform, they have made a lot of stuff. See, announcement is one thing, implementation is another. You people are not born. There was a Delhi Sultanate ruler, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He also used to announce a lot of schemes, but implementation used to lag behind. In our time, in Amrit Kal, there was a scheme which was announced, demonetization. Implementation, first they were like, we curb black money. They're like, nah, nah, nah. It's all about, we will make our economy digital economy. So changing goalposts. So again, announcement is one thing, implementation is another. With reference to PMIS, have a look at this. So how many statements given above is or are correct? This is the current pattern followed by UPSC, right? Aim is to provide internship in top 100, not 100, 500 companies. So first is wrong. Scheme, this is correct. Internship often not only in urban district, you see 700 plus districts. Like I will give you another example. G Ramji Manrega. 100 days earlier it was there, 100 days of unskilled work in Narega. And the current government is, according to facts and figures, they are giving around roughly around 50 days. And now in this G Ramji and all, the name, whatever name is, they are saying that they will give 125. You are not even able to provide the current 100 days of job, and you are saying it's like, what is there in speaking? I can speak anything, you know. So here, so sad, guys. So the second statement is correct. So how many of the given statement are correct? Only one statement. Cool. Next article, fifth most important. Again, please understand, if I'm giving you 50 most important articles, so these articles are the articles from June to early September, right? So it's not like they are the most important. All 50 will be equally important, guys. So you have to pay attention to all 50 equally. Just give me a second. I love you. Now, fifth article, CAG report. Now, here, polity and economy are merging. What do I? Oh, oh, oh. I'm very clumsy. There are some people who are not clumsy. There are some people who are clumsy. I don't like too much light on my face. What will you do seeing my face? You already know I'm cute. Guys, see this. So CAG report, Comptroller and Auditor General, they have done the audit of railways. They have found some lapses. Now, what is important here is, this is economy, infrastructure, and all, but here polity and economy merge, and that will happen. We will cover 50 topics of polity and governance, 50 of economy. So there will be some economic connotation in some political articles. There will be political connotation in some economic articles. That's how the world works. So CAG Article 148, and they submit report to president, and they can be removed in the same manner as judge of Supreme Court. Remember these facts, they are actually important. So they have talked about some issues which are there in this. Have I told you the article here? Article 148, right? Yeah. So just facts and figures related to CAG. CAG is in news, and there are some issues in railways that will come again. We'll talk about it again. Just keep it in mind, CAG and the provisions associated with it. Not all articles will be too deep and extensive like the Lorentz and the Kuznetska, which we have discussed. What is the answer of this question, guys? Article 148. Next. With reference to Comptroller and Auditor General of India, consider the following statements. The CAG is appointed by President of India. CAG can be removed by President on the advice of Prime Minister. CAG submit audit reports directly to Prime Minister. What is the answer? Let me try one thing because I am very inquisitive by nature. I will suggest you people read certain books, guys. One book is Courage to be Disliked, other is 1984 by George Orwell. It's so yes, sir. Sir. So what we were discussing. George Orwell 1984 is so awesome, guys. It looks like he's talking about the current day and age. Oh, so CAG is appointed by President. He cannot be removed by President on the advice of Prime Minister. He can be removed in the same manner as Judge of Supreme Court. Second is wrong. Eliminate second. You get the answer. A1 only. CAG submit audit reports directly, not to Prime Minister, President. Which one of the following statement best reflects the chief purpose of Constitution of a country? What is the purpose now? Because we're talking about Constitution and all, and constitutional articles. Let's solve this question also. Polity, economy, merging together. Very good. I love you. So, Constitution is telling what government can do, what they cannot do, what laws they can make on, what laws they cannot make on. So in a way it limits the power of government, defines and limits the power of government. These are all very basic conceptual questions, guys. You cannot make mistake in these questions. If you do, I will kill you all and eat you alive. But again, that's a contradiction. If I kill you all, you're dead, so I cannot eat you alive. Also, I'm not a cannibal. Next article 6, 24th July 2025, net FDI. We have talked about FDI. You see, BOP is so important. I've told you we'll talk about these things again. So FDI, foreign direct investment, and then you have FPI, foreign portfolio investment. So this FPI, which is also known as foreign institutional investment, is very volatile. You know, investors can take out their money and all. But in FDI, let's say Amazon is there, they establish their headquarters or they establish their base in Hyderabad and all. So they cannot take away this building. So there is investment, there is research and development which is going on. So FDI is much more stable. So keep it in mind. Now, net FDI, gross FDI. There are some terms which you have to understand. So there is gross FDI, how much money these companies, Amazon, etc., they brought to India. And then, okay, so net FDI is gross FDI minus repatriation. Now, focus on these words, they are important. Minus repatriation minus outward FDI. Uh, so repatriation is what? These companies, Amazon, etc., they are incurring profits. Or let's say they want to exit country, they're selling, they have got some money, capital back. So all these money, if they're sending back to their own country, profits and all, that is repatriation. Outward FDI is what? Just like Amazon is there in India, it's a US company. So similarly, let's say India's company Reliance, they're going and investing in Africa. So that is outward FDI. They're sending money outside. So if you subtract from gross FDI, repatriation and outward FDI, you will get something known as net FDI. And this net FDI has, this is what this article is saying, dives 98%. So it has reduced a lot compared to last year. May 2025, $35 million. On the other hand, last May 2024, it was $2.2 billion. So much money has been taken out from our country. Net FDI, gross FDI minus repatriation minus outward FDI. Why this whole low gross FDI is going on? Because again, maybe rupee is very volatile because of US policies. The other point is maybe they're sending a lot of repatriated money outside. So there are multiple factors. Why? Chippandees is happening, not chippandees. I will kill you all and eat you alive. Higher repatriation, higher profit booking. They may have earned a lot of profit, they're sending it back to their country. So, gross FDI inflows, you can see repatriation and disinvestment. They have sold a stake in their company, they're sending the money back to their homeland. Outward FDI. Our Indian companies investing outside India. So, that has also stood at $2.1 billion May 2025, 34% lower than April, 18.5% higher. So our Indian companies, they're investing more outside. So all these factors led to low net FDI. Again, a component of BOP, borrowing and lendings, FDI. BOP is very important, guys. You have to revise it multiple number of times. So PYQ UPSC 2014, solve these questions. With reference to BOP, which of the following constitutes Current account. I love you. Current account. So we have talked about current account, capital account, right? So foreign assets, like balance of trade, BOT, we have talked about, that is merchandise. So first it has to be current account. Revise the first article which we have discussed. Balance of invisible, I've told you visible and invisible. SIT, service income transfer, that is invisible. So it is in current account, so third has to be there. So that means 1 and 3 is the answer. Foreign asset, special drawing rights, they are not in current account. C is the answer, guys. PYQ UPSC 2013, which of the following constitute a capital account? Again, do chepandis. Cheapu తెలుసు లేదు కాదు guys. I love you. Na o పిర్యాది పోయినా. So private remittances, again, it was a part of current account. Service income transfer, and transfer you have remittances. So just eliminate third, you will get the answer. B, 1, 2, and 4. See, this is how option elimination works. Who are good boys and girls? You people are. B is the answer. Next, net FDI is calculated by which of the following? The answer is B. Gross FDI minus repatriation minus outward FDI. Whenever you see the question, just pause me. Next, this is a good important article. That's why you're seeing so many questions on this. Which of the following could be possible reason for higher repatriation by foreign companies? Why they have sent higher repatriation and all? Weakening of Indian rupee expectation, third has to be there, so eliminate. C, increase in corporate tax. If there is increase in corporate tax in US, why will they take out money there? So fourth has to be wrong. So C, D gone. You're left with A and B. You have to just say second. Profit booking by foreign firms. So if they have earned lots of profit in India, they have to run their family in US, so they will send money to their country. So yeah, second is correct. The answer is A, 1, 2, and 3 only. Good question, tricky question, but hope you understood the logic behind it. Next, Article 7th. Oh my god. So we'll cover 13 articles today, guys. This is the 7th one. Oh my god. Just give me a second. I'm trying to do some stuff. It doesn't make any difference, but still. I'm just taking a break, guys. I do anything and everything anywhere. Okay. So what are we discussing? But there should not be light on my face. I can make a light on my face, but yeah. What does it even mean? I can make a light on my Okay, let's focus. So seventh article of the day, guys. Why has the import duty on cotton been suspended? So cotton. Now, what kind of a crop is cotton? Rabi crop or kharif crop? Whenever I teach people these things, I teach them about mnemonics. So you have kharif crops. The mnemonic is Kobama ki tujuri. Kobama ki tujuri. Cotton, and again Rabi crops. Rabi crops. Vibagram. Remember these mnemonics are important. So cotton, bajra, maize, tur, jowar, rice. Here we wheat, barley, gram, rapeseed, and mustard. So these are Rabi crop, kharif crop. So cotton is a kharif crop. Import duty on cotton being suspended. What is the logic here? Then in this article you will read about Cotton Corporation of India, which has been created in 1970s. Basically, their work is to ensure farmers who producing cotton, they're getting or selling cotton at MSP, minimum support price, and not doing the distress sell. That is the basic work of Cotton Corporation of India. So background, cotton is the main raw material, and India has seen declining cotton production. So sometimes the demand increases. So we want to import cotton, and if you impose duty on cotton, why will other countries sell you their raw cotton, right? Plus, in our countries, there are some manufacturers who wants imported cotton. They don't want a domestic cotton because the quality is not that high. Because of which, the demand of imported cotton is high, and the farmers who are producing raw cotton in our country, they're not very happy when import duty is removed from cotton. So in February 21, the government imposed 11% import duty to protect domestic content cotton growers. So you see there what was happening at that time. Production exceeded demand at that time. So they imposed duty because there was no need, there was less incentive to import cotton. Despite that, cotton import rose because there is a demand. Companies, they want to import cotton. They want higher quality cotton imported from outside with due respect to Indian domestic cotton to address textile industry shortage. And then later on, what happened? Just give me a second, guys. Despite the duty, cotton import rose significantly, and then to address textile industry shortage, later on shortage happened, the demand increased than the production. So government exempted cotton imports. Like from again, you can see all the numbers. Cotton imports surged. The duty was removed. Exemption from duty. Duty cotton imports. Right. Current situation: domestic production 294 lakh bales. Bale is the unit of cotton, and requirement is 318. Again, the requirement is more than the production. You have to remove import duty to make cotton cheaper, whatever you are importing. So import will be happening from these countries. So Cotton Corporation of India, they purchased 100 lakh bales, sold 73 lakh bales at MSP. Remember these facts we have just discussed. What is the basic work of CCI? And government is also trying to ensure cotton growers are not distressed by hiking minimum support price by 8%. We'll talk about MSP, who recommends it, who implements it. All these things are important. Cool, cool, cool. So implementation of implication of duty withdrawal. If import duty is withdrawal or withdrawn rather, then these imported cotton will be, coming more to India, and the domestic cotton growers will be unhappy. International brands, they also prefer imported cotton. Exporters gain a level playing field in global market because so these international brands, let's say Raymond and all, if they are using India's domestic cotton, which is considered inferior, then when they are exporting it, outside our country, these Raymond, they will not be taken on the same footing as the domestic companies of France, etc. So if they are using imported cotton, they are gaining a level playing field in the global markets. Farmer is not happy because their cotton, the production, the purchase will decrease if more cotton is coming from outside. Hope I'm making some sense here. Long-term solution, again, this article is important from both pre as well as mains perspective. Long-term solution, these things you can read it or use it in your mains answer. There's no strict separation of pre and mains preparation, is it? So stable policy: suspend duty when farmers have sold their produce. At that time you can suspend import duty and cotton can come from outside. Interest subvention: give some interest support to working capital meals, cotton mills and all, so that they can buy cotton from farmers, thereby reducing stress on CCI, Cotton Corporation of India, to procure cotton from farmers at MSP, and it will reduce government burden on MSP as well. MSP, who decides it? CACP recommends MSP, but Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA, chaired by Prime Minister sir, they take the final decision. Remember the distinction, this is important, already asked by UPSC. Kharif, Rabi, Mnemonic, I have already told you. Kharif, Kubama ki Tujori, and Rabi, V Bagram. Now let's solve this question. PYQ asked by UPSC in 2013. Chipandis, chipandis, chipandis. Cotton, groundnut, rice, and wheat. Which of these are kharif crops, guys? Kharif. Cotton is kharif, right? So second will be gone. Rice is kharif. So third has to be there. Now you're left with C and D. So wheat cannot be kharif. It is a rabi crop, well-known rabi crop. So the answer is C, 1, 2, and 3. Groundnut. Now you know it's also a kharif crop. Kharif crop. Cotton Corporation set up which of the following primary objectives? What is the main objective of establishment of Cotton Corporation of India? To ensure procurement of cotton at MSP. B is the answer. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word, guys. If I'm adding to your knowledge base, you can donate. If you want this PDF, you can also send me a WhatsApp message at the same number. Next article, eighth article of the day. Oh my God, 6 more articles to go. But it's fine. If these articles are all conceptual. These articles are important. And let's continue. Industrial growth jumps to 4 months high of 3.5%. So in this article, you will witness words. You will witness terms. IIP, ICI, index of industrial production, index of 8 core industry. So these things you have to remember. They are numbers, growth and contraction and all. That's fine. That is none of our concern right now. UPSC is not going to ask you that. This is important. Index of industrial production. Who publishes it? MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So what they are trying to check. You see this change in the volume of basket of industrial goods which lie under mining, manufacturing, and electricity. So these are the components. Base year 2011 12. So this is a broader index, broader index compared to ICI, index of 8 core industries. As the name suggests, they are focused on the 8 core industries. And what are those 8 core industries? These industries: refinery, electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement, and fertilizer. So basically, you can say that ICI is a kind of a subset of IIP. Using the data of ICI, IIP is also published. So IIP, they also use this data of ICI. Unlike IIP, which is published by MOSPI, this report is published by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So remember the difference here. They have, like in IIP, 40% weightage is given to these 8 core industry. So hope you are understanding what is the basic difference between index of industrial production and index of 8 core industry. They are very very important. Like UPSC has asked questions on them. And the weightage of, now you can get confused here. So let's take it one at a time. 8 core industry and the weights in index of industrial production. You can see the numbers here. Refinery, electricity, steel, crude oil, natural gas, cement, and fertilizer, their weightage. Now let's solve some questions. So this is not IIP, guys. The 8 core industries and their weight, it should be in ICI. Here it will be ICI. So again, let's solve this question. This is a PYQ. The index of 8 core industry, which of the following is given the highest weight? What is the answer? Shapandis. The answer is B, electricity generation. Refinery, if you see, has the highest weightage, right? But refinery is not there in the option. You have to take the second one, and that is electricity. B is the answer. MCQ, with reference to index of industrial production, consider the following statement. Now, we have talked about IIP, we have talked about ICI. Based on that, try to solve this. So it is released every month by Office of Economic Advisor, DPIIT. Index of Industrial Production we are talking about. IIP is released by, again, my base here is fine. Office of, no, it is not DPIIT. IIP is released by MOSPI. ICI is released by DPIIT. So first is wrong. So the answer will be C, 2 and 3, right? Right. IIP, if you see this, again, IIP is MOSPI and ICI is DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Remember these facts, they are tricky. You can get confused. So C is the answer. Next question. Consider the following industries. How many of them were part of index of 8 core industries, ICI? Have a look at it. You can pause me right now and try to solve this question. So the answer is only 4, right? Textile is not a part of index of 8 core industries, so keep it in mind. In an unstable world, energy sovereignty is the new oil. Ninth article published on 30th August. So again, this article, editorial important from both pre and mains perspective. This is talking about how energy, India imports so much of oil and natural gas. So energy, if we are sovereign, if we become sovereign in oil and natural gas phenomena, that will give us so much leverage, so much independence in deciding what we have to do, what international decisions we have to take, right? So that is what this article is saying. And this article is saying that India is now focusing on 5 major things. In India's energy sovereignty doctrine revolves around 5 pillars. Keep it in mind. Coal gasification. If we convert coal into gaseous form, we get something known as syngas, which is somewhat more cleaner than coal. Biofuels, ethanol blending, C2H5OH, E20 and all. That is also saving us, the money which we're using to import oil. Nuclear energy, much more cleaner than coal, although it's also non-renewable energy. It's not a renewable energy, but it is much more cleaner. Green hydrogen which you are getting via electrolysis of water using renewable energy. So if you do electrolysis, it will be hydrogen. Water will be converted into hydrogen and oxygen. So this hydrogen, and if you are doing this whole thing via renewable energy process, this is green hydrogen. Pumped hydro storage is what? Let me show you what is pumped hydro storage so that you can understand things in a much better manner. So generally, what happens? Let's say there is a off-peak season. You don't need much electricity. Let's say it's winter and all. So in that scenario, what will happen? Water will be pumped from lower reservoir to upper reservoir when the peak demand is low. When the demand will be high, water will be left from upper reservoir to lower reservoir. It will rotate turbine and it will generate electricity. So that's how this pumped hydropower storage works, based on the stored potential energy of water. So hope you understood. So we are focusing on these 5 pillars. You have to remember these 5 pillars. You have to use it in pre as well as mains. So this article is talking about Russia. Because of sanction, Russian oil has become cheaper for us. But if we keep on buying it, it comes at a cost. As we are seeing what Trump is saying with each passing day, is exerting more and more pressure on India and other countries to stop buying oil from Russia. Import burden and all. Geopolitical flashpoint, you can read it in your free time. India's energy sovereignty doctrines, 5 pillars, you have to revise it multiple number of times to ensure we have more, biogas and all. There is a scheme, Satat scheme, which government has launched. You have to keep it in mind. They can directly ask you, Satat scheme is related to what? India's, you can see strategic shift and all. See this. This is important. Satat, sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation. What we are trying to do, we are trying to promote compressed biogas. So biogas, you make it via anaerobic process. There is food waste and all. So you do anaerobic uh, uh, process, you decompose it in an anaerobic scenario. In the absence of oxygen, you get biogas, you get CH4, methane. When you compress it, you get CBG, compressed biogas. Compressed biogas, purified and compressed form of biogas, which main component is CH4, produced by anaerobic digestion of biomass. Agriculture residue, blah blah blah. 90% methane. They can ask you what is the main component of biogas. Oh my god. And green hydrogen we have discussed, using renewable energy, and what is the basic rationale of green hydrogen. Let's solve some question with reference to pumped hydro storage. See these two options and try to solve this question, guys. I love you. Na upiria dipoina. It store energy in the form of gravitational potential energy, can be used to stabilize the grid during renewable energy fluctuation. Both these statements are correct. Read more about pumped hydro storage. I have told you the basic rationale how it works. The green hydrogen is produced using coal gasification, electrolysis of water. You can see steam reforming and all. So the answer is B, electrolysis of water with renewable energy. Next article, 10th article, four more articles to go. Oh my god. You see how much hard work it requires to give you this content, collection of articles. And yeah, it's not easy, guys. But yes, I love to do this. So India's economic chair, nectar of growth. Hardeep Singh Puri, sir, he has written this article, 1st September 2025. He's a Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. So what Sir is talking about in this article, he is basically talking about how India is doing awesome. India's civilization past crisis has आपदा को अवसर, our honorable PM Sir says, and that's how we are converting crisis into awesome opportunistic scenarios. I don't know how to put it. Past crises like 1991 economic crisis led to LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization. COVID-19 led to digital surge. All these things are happening. So currently also, if Trump is creating issues and all, we don't need to worry about it. We will, if he's imposing tariff, we will come up with some solutions. We have always done that. We are today world's fourth largest economy. Will become, you know, third largest economy by 2030. So fingers crossed. He is talking about some other things. UPI is adopted by so many countries. And again, World Bank data, remember, 24 crore Indians taken out of multidimensional poverty, extreme poverty, we have talked about it. In the previous articles, revise it. Ethanol blending is happening, saving us money, compressed biogas, Satat scheme, launched in 2018, oil PSUs investing in green hydrogen, all the things which we have read. And that's why when you accumulate all economy related articles, environment related articles at one place, it helps in revision. The same things which we have discussed earlier is repeating now. PLI scheme, production linked incentive scheme, launched in 2020, where if you are producing more goods inside India, then on the incremental, like let's say earlier you used to produce 100 units of goods, now you're producing 120. So on the plus 20 units, government will give you, let's say, 5 rupees per unit. So you're getting 100 rupees now. So this is production linked incentives. Oh my god, incentive scheme. And then you have Gati Shakti. Gati Shakti is what? You have airport, you have roadways, you have railways, you have airways, all are working in their own silos. Connect them to ensure last mile connectivity. Almost more than 15 ministries are coming together for this Gati Shakti initiative to ensure last mile connectivity, roadways, airways, everything has to be connected, right? Digital economy, UPI, any and every country is adopting it. That's what Hardeep Singh Puri sir is talking about here. Important from exam perspective, production linked incentive scheme. When was it launched? 2020, part of Atmanirbhar Bharat program. Then he is giving some more numbers. You can read it. This one. So it PLI, March 2020. Remember this from pre-perspective. Part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, which was also launched in 2020 only. The irony is PLI launched earlier, March 2020. ABA Self-Reliance Atmanirbhar Bharat, it was launched in May 2020. And the five pillars: economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography, and demand. Remember this. They can ask you which of the following is not a pillar of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So in that regard, you have to remember these facts and figures. Very good. Next, let's solve. Under PLI scheme, companies are given what? What is the answer, guys? Cheaper days. Incentive based on incremental sale of goods manufactured in India. I've told you. The Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is based on five pillars. Which of the following is not one of them? Chi, 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 chi. Cha, 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 cha. So the answer is D, foreign trade. Foreign trade is not one of them. 11th article, questionable chief. Government might find it difficult to meet its fiscal deficit target. So again, there are some numbers which is published in 2nd September. Numbers, how much GDP grew, manufacturing grew, and blah blah blah. Again, these numbers does not concern us that much. What actually concern is real GDP, nominal GDP, how these things actually work. Nominal GDP. So current, like you see this year one 10 pen 10 rupees each, 100 rupee, that is nominal GDP. Year two still producing 10 pen, but the prices have increased by 50%. So my nominal GDP is 150. On the other hand, in both these years, real GDP will be 100 only, because they are concerned with the increase in the goods and services. Since the increase in goods and services did not happen here, so real GDP is same for both years. On the other hand, since nominal GDP is not adjusted for inflation and they take into account inflation, so their prices is increasing. So generally, nominal GDP is greater than real GDP until unless you have deflation. So then nominal GDP would be lesser. That generally does not happen in our country. So hope you are understanding. So real GDP is adjusted for inflation, nominal GDP is not. So this is one thing which you have to keep in mind. Then budget, like BOP we have talked about, balance of payment budget, revenue budget, capital budget, revenue receipt, revenue expenditure. In revenue receipt, what money you are getting. So uh, yeah, government has so many companies, they're getting some profits and all, interest dividends from them. So that is their revenue receipt. Then expenditure, salaries, pensions, defense, all these things are going inside revenue expenditure. Capital receipt. So government is investing, taking loans, etc. That is in capital receipt. Capital expenditure is asset creation. Government is making roads, infrastructure, that will be there in capital expenditure. So remember these facts. Now again, there's one homework for you. If you know it, you can post it in the comment section. This investment comes under which particular portion? If you know it, you can post it in the comment section. Revenue receipt, capital receipt, what? Then there are different terms: revenue receipt, deficit, revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Then if you have different terms here. Effective revenue deficit. So let's read this first, then read this second. Revenue deficit minus grants for capital asset creation. So let's say I have given, or center has given some money or grant to states for creating roads and infrastructure. So that will come, that then you subtract that grants and you will get effective revenue deficit second. Then you have primary deficit. Now let's first read fiscal deficit. Expenditure. So my total expenditure, capital plus receipt, is more than my capital plus revenue is more than my receipt. Then I have to borrow some amount of money, right? If my expenditure is more than my receipt, so that borrowing is becoming fiscal deficit. So here, basically, whatever formula you're seeing, expenditure minus revenue receipt plus non-debt capital receipt, because debt capital receipt is actually fiscal deficit. In simple terms, whatever borrowing you are taking, whatever loan you are taking to compensate for your expenditure being more than receipt, that is fiscal deficit. So third is that, and then fourth is primary deficit, fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Let's say Modi sir, he's ruling now. During the period of Manmohan Singh sir, he took some loan, and Modi sir is still paying the interest on that loan. So if you subtract that interest from fiscal deficit, you will get primary deficit. And then read budget of deficit, which has no meaning. Basically, nobody reads about budget of deficit now. So let's solve some questions. Which of the following correctly explains the difference between real GDP and nominal GDP? Chipandis, I love you. Na upiriati poi na. So the answer is real GDP is adjusted for inflation, nominal GDP is not. In India, the current base year for calculating real GDP is, pause me, 2011-12. Which of the following best defines fiscal deficit? Pause me and try to. I have told you what fiscal deficit is actually. So the answer here is C. Total expenditure minus revenue receipt plus non-debt capital receipt, because the debt capital receipt is actually fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is actually the borrowings which you are taking to compensate for the fact that your expenditure is more than your receipt. Next article 12. Inflation falls, but not unemployment. Again, this article is talking about so many things. Just keep it in mind. The Phillips curve thing, which we have discussed, guys, because you people are good boys. So good boys and girls, you people are. When I started recording, it was day. It has become night. Don't do cuts and all, but yes, I also don't do big videos, guys. I have become old now, Don't have that much stamina. So these two, sir, what they're talking about in this article, they're giving some numbers, inflation and unemployment numbers. And just remember the Phillips curve, inverse relationship between unemployment and inflation. If inflation increases, unemployment decreases. We have talked about it in the first article. Revise it. And this article is just talking about that only. This article I've included so that you can revise Phillips curve. You know how important these curves are from both pre and mains perspective. Here we are talking about from pre perspective. And then also there are different terms which you have to read. And that's why I've included it here. Let's read these terms. So there are terms like inflation. Oh my god. Inflation, deflation. Let me show you something. Because who are good boys and girls? You people are. So there are different terms, guys. Inflation, increase in prices. Deflation, decrease in prices. Inflation rate is less than 0%, so prices will decrease. And then you have disinflation. Prices will increase, but at a slower rate. I always give this example, 120, 132. So here, if you see the inflation rate, 20%. But from here to here, if you take 120 as the base rate, the inflation increase is 10%. You know how? 132 minus 12 is 12. The base year will be 120 to 100. So 10%. CSAT we are doing. So this is disinflation. Prices are increasing, but at a slower rate. This is disinflation. Keep it in mind. UPSC has asked questions on these terms. And then reflation, as we have discussed, inflation and unemployment, they have inverse relationship. So sometimes government intentionally bring or increase money supply, bring inflation so that they can curb unemployment. So this is reflation, deliberately brought by government to reduce unemployment. Remember these terms: reflation, stagflation. Here, basic law, Phillips curve, etc., it falls. It's an unique kind of a scenario. There is high inflation, high unemployment. So normal laws of economy does not apply here, and that's why countries, they are very scared to be in this stagflation scenario, guys. Very good. I love you. Na upiriati poi na stagflation. Skewflation. Prices of some goods are increasing, some goods are decreasing. And then let's come back. You exceeded. Okay. So Phillips curve, revise Phillips curve. I have told you other things also which are important for you to know. Now let's solve this PYQ asked by UPSC in 2010. What is deflation? Pause me right now. The answer is C. Persistent fall in the general price level of goods and services. Very good. PYQ 2013 disguised unemployment. Okay, maybe I did not tell you this thing, but you use your current pre-existing knowledge, try to solve this question. That will happen in UPSC also. You will get some question which you feel like, oh my god, I've never seen this, but you have to solve it because who are good boys and girls? You people are really, really good. I love you. Na upiria dipoi na. Disguised unemployment means marginal productivity of labor is zero. So let's say there were earlier three labors, they were producing 3 units of stuff. Then there are 4 labors, but now this labor is doing chit chat with other 3 labors, and he has decreased the productivity of others. Still, they're producing only 3 units. So the marginal productivity of the fourth labor is zero, and that is disguised unemployment. Disguised means छिपा hua, hidden. It may feel like you're doing some work, but actually you're not. Same units are being produced. So the marginal productivity of the fourth labor is zero. C is the answer. Revise all these unemployment, disguised unemployment, structural, cyclical unemployment, and all. Phillips curve shows the relationship between C, inflation and unemployment. Last article for today. Center earmarks 500 crore for electric truck purchases. Government is launching this PM e-drive scheme to, there's already FAME scheme of government going on, FAME 1, FAME 2, faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles. To accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles, government has come up with this PM e-drive initiative, where they are trying to ensure that, earlier old trucks, which is emitting a lot of pollutants, they are replaced with electric trucks. So in PM e-truck, there's so much e-drive emission, there's so much money which is there. You see, I will show you. A total outlay of the scheme, it will began in October 24, will run for 2 years. Remember these terms, these things are important. outlay is 10,900 crore, guys. Almost 11,500 crore is specifically for e-trucks. So again, to reduce pollution, to become more sustainable, environmentally sustainable and all, this PM e-drive initiative has been launched. Who are good boys? Government is a good boy here. And then they have given some numbers. You can read it in your free time. Mode of disbursement, blah, blah, blah. Scrapping of old polluting trucks is mandatory to avail the incentive. Very good. Customer focused approach. Within this 10,000 approved, there are subsidies for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, ambulances. Focus is on, trucks and all, but yes, they are also incentivizing, because it's like 11,000 crore approximately. 500 crore is for trucks. Rest is for these guys. Not, they're not exactly guys, but yeah, entities. Solve this MCQ, guys. I love you. Oh, Priya, Dipo, I love you, na pranam po itakutanti prem ki. It is not launched for period of 5 years, 2 years. So first is wrong. If first is wrong, the answer is D2 and 3. You don't need to check anything. So that's it from me, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. Make me famous. You can join this Telegram channel. I share Hindu analysis PDF in this Telegram channel, which I do, Monday to Saturday at daily at 9 a.m. Sometimes I'm late because content is everything. I cannot compromise on quality. You are your own competition. You're not competing with anybody else. Keep it in mind, guys. And you can also donate if I'm adding to your knowledge base. If you want this PDF, you can also send me a message at the same number. So that's it from me. Take care, be best. Tata, bye bye. Hello, hello.